All right. So I'm going to start now. Ruchi, welcome. Let's start the topic today right away. Anyone else? Yes. All right. So let's begin the topic today. The topic is flower therapy for children's health problem. And this is something very close to my heart because for years I have been treating children with great success, and I find that children respond to flower remedy very quickly. And because the reason is this, that they don't have very complicated mind or emotions. They are like, a clean slate, a clean paper, and you can write something on them. They're not very complicated in their mind, and that is why uh, we want to speak about this topic, how quickly we can help. And I have had great success over the years. And let's start the topic today: flower therapy for children's health problem. So before starting, I always like to mention the disclaimer. We don't make any claims to cure or treat any kinds of diseases. It does not replace the proper medical care, and kindly don't stop your medication without consulting your medical doctor. This is something I caution before I start. Or treat any kinds of diseases. Right. So let's move on. So we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. This is something that we all should keep in mind, that our bodies are only temporary. We are eternal spiritual being, and we are here for our human experience. Now, let me begin with the story of conception, birth, and DNA. When mother and father are conceiving a baby, their thoughts and their emotions are very important, because it is the moment of conception where their emotions and their attitude and their desires will also be fully associated with the child. And that's so very, very important to keep in mind, that conception is a very divine moment. It is a moment of creativity. It is a moment where two half set of DNAs meet and finally decide for a new being to take birth. What will be the eye color, what will be the hair color, what will be the size, what will be the shape, whether it will be he or she, everything gets determined in that very precious moment of conception. And then finally, of course, the birth happens after 9 months of this conception. There's a very strong bonding between father and mother and the child. And the child takes birth by choosing the parents as per their karmic bondage and the lessons that they want to learn in this lifetime. They will choose their set of parents as per their karmic bonding, and then finally a situation will allow their incarnation. Now, I would like to give this little bit of theory very clearly, that 3 months of father prior to conception, father's mental and emotional status is very, very important, because all that information goes into the sperms and then the baby will have it. It is in the making of the sperm, all this emotional and mental stress is also embedded in it. It's not just the physical counterpart. And 9 months after the conception, the baby is in mother's womb, and whatever emotions a mother feels, whatever her stresses or shock are there, baby feels all of it. Baby records it. Baby is listening in the womb as well. And baby is learning, keeping a note of everything. If a mother has happily conceived the baby, then she's going to radiate beautiful love vibrations and baby will feel it. But if mother has conceived out of some mistake or there is some rejection, if mother has gone through some troubles in life, then or mother is into a dilemma whether she wants to have the baby or she doesn't want to have the baby, then all this will be felt by the baby. Baby will make a record of it and it will affect. So I call it as 9 months of intrauterine life of the baby in the womb, and 3 months prior to conception, father's emotions also go into the sperm, and of course the mother's emotions as well. So by the time birth happens, 12 months, the baby has already recorded a lot of stuff. It's not totally fresh anymore. Baby already arrives with all kinds of information, and I would say sometimes baggage as well. Now, there is a science of Garbha Sanskar. It is used quite a lot, very famous in our country, where all 9 months, mother wants to stay in a very beautiful, peaceful, calm, happy state and give the sanskar to her own baby. And there are programs on internet that teach about Garbha Sanskar. I have seen the effect of it, very nice, and it is worth attending, paying attention. All this will go into the baby and baby will remember. A mother and child relationship is very, very precious. It is like two bodies but behaving as one, because whatever mother feels, the child is going to feel, and vice versa. Whatever baby feels, a child feels, mother is going to sense it immediately. Reason is this: there is a very, very strong energetic coding between parents and child. It's just not only from mother to the baby, it is also from father to the baby, because 9 months during the conception, even father has actively associated and got attached to the baby, and this energetic coding that gets established even at that time, and it remains active throughout life. This code is energetic code. It starts from the heart chakra of the mother to the heart chakra of the baby, also from the Manipur chakra, also to the baby. And all other chakras are also connected, but the one at the heart level is the strongest. So this is the sense that no matter where the child is, anywhere in the world, mother feels it. Mother knows. Mother seems to know my baby is hungry. Mother has that complete idea about what's going on. Even in the night when she's sleeping, if her baby makes slightest of the sound, she'll just wake up, because there's such a strong connection. And this connection remains throughout life. Now the baby, once a baby is born, their energy field is not really very strong right in the beginning. It's a very, very weak boundaries, very, very sensitive energy field. I will call it as a spongy energy field. The baby is absorbing the vibrations, the energies, emotions, everything from the environment. It's the energy field which is yet not so protected, not so solid. And so all information that is there in the environment, baby is likely to absorb it. And that is why mother holding baby on her tummy helps a lot. Sometimes baby is crying, you just put on your tummy, and the baby stops crying. So there's a strong connection, and the baby starts feeling comfortable as how he or she was feeling in the womb. So this is the connection, putting the baby on the tummy and making the baby feel safe. And mother's energy field initially protects baby quite a lot. Uh, we do not take baby out of the house. We do not expose a small child, very small, like few months old, to unknown people or unknown energies or unknown areas. We don't want to. We just want to always protect and be careful. At least up to a year, we just don't want all these things to happen. So this is what we are knowingly or unknowingly already doing it. I remember my grandmother said that the first time you ever take baby out of the house will be to the temple. In the temple, let baby hear the bells, the bell sound. That's the first sound, outside the home. And let baby, see the statue of a god or goddess as the first darshan. And then the rest can happen. And yet never take baby out just like that, and never, give away someone unknown people to hold and all those things. In our Gujarati, we say, "Ene najar lagi jai," that because their energy fields are very, very transparent, very fragile. That's why you have to be very careful with the babies. So man is a child of his own environment. This is the eternal truth. If man is a child of his own environment, what about a child? Child is certainly also absorbing everything from his environment. He absorbs it through his eyes, ears, nose, touch, smell, and also through the energy sensitivity. The baby feels it all. And environment is the one that has to be very positive. The child is, completely reflecting the environment. You can read it in the eyes. You can read it in the gesture. The story is written on the face of the child. And therefore, positivity helps a lot. We have to have a very positive environment. There should be no comparison, no competition. Each one is unique. Each one is special. This is very, very important. Knowingly or unknowingly, we'll end up comparing children. We'll end up, passing comments. We say all sorts of things to children, just not knowing that they are already perfect and they are unique and they are very special. They are specially abled, There's no point in throwing any negative statements. Now, I would like to also introduce this concept of anthroposophy. Anthroposophy is the philosophy that was introduced by Rudolf Steiner, a man from Austria, about more than 100 years ago. And he had several lectures delivered on this topic, and various branches came up on this philosophy. One is medicine, then art, music, and also education and farming. So, anthroposophy way of looking at life is always looking at life spiritually, not just physically, but more holistically. Well, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, all aspects are taken into consideration. You cannot have just the physical aspect, but you also must remember that we are spiritual beings in the physical body, and the integrated approach is very important. So this is what we do in medicine as well, and I also keep in mind for child development. So let me tell you more about anthroposophy, way of educating and developing and upbringing a child. So in all over the world, there are schools which are called as Waldorf schools. There are more than 1,000 schools in about 60 countries. And here they are teaching according to the anthroposophy. And they have studied the developmental phases of a human being. And these are into 7 years. EPO, they are called as 7 years EPO. The first 7 years of life, then second year, then the third 7, like that. It goes on 28, like that. 7, 14, 21, 28. Like that, it goes on and on. So here now the education is very different. They are always engaging head, heart, and hands. That is thinking, feeling, and doing. There is a unity It's a threefold education, and they are always paying attention that the education should be exactly according to the developmental echo of the child. EPO, they call it as EPOH. So what is developing in the first 7 years would be physical part. Here are the three pillars of education: head, heart, and hands. This is what I already spoke about. Now, first 7 years of life are associated with moon, and this is the time where you explore physical aspect. You are developing the physical body of the child. And here you are always, engaging the child with lots of games, the physical play and mud and dough, and just like no burden on learning something mentally, but just play a lot and explore the universe, explore the physical universe, become stronger in your body. It's all about doing. And this is what we used to follow when at least we were children. I didn't go to school until I was 5. And even when I went to the school, at that time, we were only playing most of the time and singing and dancing and all those things. May I request to everyone to mute themselves so that we don't hear the background noise. So here, like first 7 years, you should not burden a child with too much of learning, with bookish knowledge, and trying to put them into the race and get them going. It's just not correct. It's not fair. It is just when you do that, what actually happens is the energy gets diverted in their mental development while the physical development suffers. So don't do such a thing. You are actually then sacrificing the physical development. I see that such children don't grow physically very well because they are mentally burdened with something. So then it is not correct. First 7 years, just allow the child to explore the physical universe. And Rudolf Steiner maintained, he said that in the earliest years, the child is a one great sense organ. The child becomes whatever the environment is. He says the child's entire energy field is very sensitive. The child is like a sense organ, all the time sensing something in the environment and learning through it. You will see that initially in the first EPO, the child is learning through imitation. That is imitation because they don't have anything of their own. There's no originality. So the child is observing. If a child uses a new word, I'm sure he has learnt it from his parents or the immediate members in the surrounding, or he has seen it somewhere on the television or on YouTube. So it's always imitating. They start mimicking, they start repeating the sentences. They don't know what they are talking. They just repeat, they just mimic. And all of us have great fun. Oh, you learned this story, this poem, sing, and they'll just act it out so or can you dance like this, can you make this gesture, and they'll immediately do it. You show them how to do JJ, how to do pranam, they'll do it. They're just imitating all the time. This is the growth in the first 7 years. The next EPO is 7 to 14 years, and it is associated with the Mercury. And here the child's heart is getting developed, his emotions. This is now emotional body. First was physical body for 7 years. Now the next 7 years, it is the emotional counterpart. So here is the time where they are very busy playing. The friends are very important and they are sharing, and they can cry easily, they can laugh easily. And there's a lot of creativity, lots of emotions, lots of imagination. So this is the phase where you should allow this development to happen. And again, once more time, do not burden them with too much of technical learning and academia. The lotus flower is my favorite flower. I would love to show it. And this is one of the most powerful essence that we have made, the flower remedy. Tremendous healing power. I would like to gift it away every time in the workshop. I'm sorry, I would like to announce that I am for last 5 turns been announcing one winner each time, and I would like to gift away this lotus. I have the list of people who are selected for it. But however, because of the lockdown and having very, very less staff, I'm not able to honor this commitment right away. But as soon as there is some release and some possibility, I will be couriering you the gift of flower essence lotus to whom I have announced. Last time, the best question I selected was Natasha, and she asked me also about the immunity and repeated cold and cough, and whether one can get uh, corona or COVID infection or not. Natasha, do contact us and I will courier you lotus flower remedy. Let's start with the topic today, children's problem. Nail biting. See the nails of a child. I have seen children biting their nails, when they are just doing nothing or watching TV, or when parents are talking amongst themselves, they are, chewing their nails. And some of the small babies, when they get bored of chewing their all fingernails, they actually end up taking their toes in their mouth and they start chewing those also. So this is the situation that is reflecting the inner insecurity. The child feels worried about something, nervous about something, something is not sorted. And this is the second one. There's a thumb sucking. When the weaning happens, the mother's milk is no more available and the connection is there. Baby wants that comfort, but she doesn't get it, and the thumb is the one that gives the comfort. And so thumb sucking, sometimes they take even two first fingers in the mouth, sometimes four fingers in the mouth, and then they'll just keep it there for a long time. So these are all just something to do with their mouth, and they feel comforted. Thumb sucking and nail biting, and there's also lip chewing. They chew their own lips, out of, and then you can see the lips are very rough because of that. And these kids, are very, stressed out. There's nervous system problem. And here is the formula specially made for such children to give up this habit. And the next one is teething issues. Now, when the teething starts, suddenly they become very cranky, irritable, they cry for no reason, and they are not able to express because they can't speak, they're very restless, then they get diarrhea. Sometimes it's green color stools. So sometimes they put their fingers in the mouth, or they're licking the walls and then eating the dirt, and anything that is hard, they'll put it in the mouth and start, because of the itching that they feel. So these are the teething issues that they go through. And there are also very good flower remedy formula that can ease this problem. Chamomile flower remedy is a very good flower remedy to calm these children to their teething issues. They are very sensitive. That's why they respond, and they are very, very on the edge kind of thing. See, having teething is a change in life, change time. And that is the time where energy field is also very vulnerable and responds to the environment very quickly. So chamomile is also calming the solar plexus and improving the digestion. That's how the diarrhea happens. So when you give chamomile flower remedy, even the digestive system improves and the diarrhea stops, and the teething happens very comfortably. And temper tantrums. Oh my goodness. You see them hitting their head on the wall, and they are crying and screaming, and they just don't want to listen to you, and they want to throw things away, and they want to hide themselves and keep cribbing about something or other. And the parents complain, he doesn't listen to me, he sunta nahi hai, like that. So temper tantrums, obstinate child. So on and off, they go into this kind of fits, and then you just don't know how to handle them. Too much of energy. So also, I have seen that they are very headstrong children. If they want something, they want it, and they won't just give up. If you have promised them, they'll keep reminding you 10 times, and they just won't leave you till you give them that, or they start demanding something. I want this, I want this, I want this, you promised, you said that, and can really drive parents very crazy. But some children are obstinate, they are stubborn. They don't become stubborn just like that. Often it happens that their parents are very dominating, they are very busy, they don't have time to listen to child, and they just throw something and say, do this, do that, don't do. And then to assert himself, he'll say, no, I'm not going to do it. This is more of a survival mechanism. So no children are born obstinate or stubborn. They become like that because of the over dominating, suffocating environment where they cannot be themselves. There is no harmony and they feel very threatened by the environment. So they just, as a survival mechanism, become very stubborn. So I do help children with this remedy, but I also try to counsel parents about it. And in this relationship, even if mother listens to it, there's a lot of improvement. And while we give the remedy to the child starts becoming more centered and responding much better. And in that case, the mother starts improving automatically, because in the relationship, if one improves, the second one also starts responding positively. So if one of them takes, that's good enough. Then there is a problem of dyslexia. Dyslexia is a learning disorder. It's a kind of a slow learner, and they are not able to understand the language or the speech. They're not able to decode the words. And one of the sign is also that when they are reading something, they'll write B ulta, or they are also writing B, then ulta, A ulta, sometimes C ulta, sometimes D ulta. So what happens that they see something, but when they try to reproduce it, it's ulta. And they cannot themselves understand that they are writing it, reverse, like a mirror image. And that can happen for up to the age of 8 or 9 also. So this is the learning disabilities, particularly with the language. And this problem gets corrected very quickly with the flower remedies. There are slow learners, people who are, just not able to understand what's going on. It's very hard for them. The whole thing is very hard. They are trying to understand, but they get headaches. They just don't know how to handle it. They can't understand the teacher, and they feel also very disheartened that they can't understand. And then there is also what we call it as spectrum disorders, autism. So that also happens, and these are called as slow learners. And sometimes they are able to understand but not able to write. Sometimes they are able to write but not understand. Sometimes they're totally blank. So we call them as slow learners. Now, the flower remedy that is really very useful is called as chestnut bud. It's actually a bud of this particular flower, and it is called as chestnut bud. And this is really very good for slow learners, those who are repeating the same mistakes again and again, and they're just not able to assimilate, understand, and make it final. They just make the same mistakes again and again, or oh this, oh I forgot, oh I don't know how that happened. So chestnut bud is a very good flower remedy for slow learners. Now, ADD, this is something that you all have heard a lot. ADD, attention deficit disorder. The teacher will complain that I don't know what he's doing in the class. He's looking outside in the window. He's doing some other activity. He's playing games. He's talking to other people, but not paying attention to what's going on in the class. So this is a problem. This is called as attention deficit disorder. Nowadays, we get more and more children with this problem, attention deficit disorder, ADD. Sometimes there is more with it. It's called as ADHD. It is attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder. There is attention deficit and there is also hyperactivity. When such children are brought into my clinic, I know how hard it is. They'll keep touching everything on my table. They'll go under the table. They'll pull a few things. Parents are very hyper. They keep shouting at the child. stop this, don't do this, don't do that. And they're talking to me, and they're shouting at the child, and he's busy breaking something. It's very, very hard for parents. These are hyperactive children. This is a proper case of ADHD. Wants to touch, wants to understand, wants to do something, wants to break something, wants to climb up somewhere, wants to make a lot of noise, and he won't let you talk. ADHD. So nowadays we also see a lot of patients with this, and I have seen many years ago one mother was so exhausted that she would literally tie her baby with a rope in a room because he was so hyperactive that she just couldn't cope up with him. So it's very, very hard and very exhausting for parents and child as well. The only time he's calm is when he's sleeping. As soon as he wakes up, the whole household is down, and even three people are not enough to look after him. So there is this flower remedy formula that we have made that helps the child to calm down and channelize his energy, his creativity, and start, his journey of life instead of distracting and wasting time. Become calm, focused, become very concentrated, and do one thing at a time. We do this kind of activity with them, and we check how is their concentration. I make them write something on the paper, and I see that how their handwriting has improved. Once they are very focused, their handwriting really improves, and you can see from there itself that now the energy is completely channelized, and this now helps them to grow better. Otherwise their energy was getting very wasted. Lavender is a very beautiful flower. It is purple in color. The lavender essential oil is made from this flower, and the flowers dried you can keep next to the bed and you can get very good sleep. It's a very calming, soothing flower essence for your nervous system. And again, so this helps hyperactive children quite a lot, and this is what I recommend to use as a flower remedy, and if possible also as essential oil. You can gently massage, you just need only a drop of it into the carrier oil and massage his feet. Next one is quite opposite. It's called as attention seeking disorder. Attention seeking disorder is quite opposite. This child is constantly asking for attention, doesn't let parents talk with each other. They want to always have the best, complete attention. The parents can't talk a word. When they are not asleep, they are constantly demanding attention. I want this, I want that. And this is something I have observed in single child, because the single child is very used to complete attention. And if there are grandparents, it's even worse because they're constantly serving. So they get almost spoiled, and then they start demanding because they have a worldview that everybody serves me, and I get whatever I want. And so they now get thoroughly spoiled. And if there's a party in the house, you will see what they do. They do a lot of activities of a kind that will, get everybody's attention. Now that's where it becomes attention seeking disorder. And here is the flower remedy that is called as chicory flower remedy. And this is beautiful bark flower remedy that is used for this kind of children who are very spoiled. There are also other kind of children that I have treated with chicory flower. That's exactly opposite, where there was absolutely no love, devoid of love. They are seeking love, but they don't get it. Genuinely, they don't get it. Maybe it's a dysfunctional family. Maybe father is alcoholic, he's beating mother, and there's no one to look after this child, and there's no, genuine love. Then in the second stage, the child, you know, is actually reaching out, but he doesn't get the same thing. And then in the third stage, his heart becomes very hard, like a rock, and then he just doesn't pay attention. He has no ability to give love because he has never received love. So this is exactly opposite of not receiving love. And this attention seeking also for those who receive excess love, spoiled children. So let's just not spoil our children with too much of attention. That also is not good. They have to be on their own also at some point. Now, there are, all the flower remedies are, of course, are messages of the flower. They are thoughts and emotions. So affirmations are also given with the flower remedy, and sometimes I do give. And so it says, when I open my heart, my mind is free. And chicory flower affirmations are, I give undemandingly, and I let go what I have been holding on to. Repeated ear infections. This is another one that happens when the immune system is low. And please excuse me, there's a phone coming, so I'm going to disconnect it. Okay. So repeated ear infections, and the child is just showing, touching the ear because there's a pain over there, sometimes crying very loudly, and we don't even realize that there is ear infection, then ear is paining too much. And also repeated cold and cough, and the immune system is very, very weak. This is something I see very routinely in my clinic. Every month there's cold and cough, a round of antibiotic already taken, and then the child is okay for 2 or 3 weeks, and then the second round starts. Then again 5 days of antibiotic, again better for 3 weeks, and again it starts. And then it goes on for 5, 6, 7 months, and then parents get tired. They understand that there's something not right way of treating, and the immune system becomes weaker and weaker with each attack. There is very low immunity, somehow very tired, easily catching cold, fever, very fragile. And post vaccination, there is a vaccination schedule, and then that's given regularly, and suddenly we see that after 2 or 3 weeks the child is now having fever, infection, feeling very tired. And this is a post vaccination immune system getting exhausted and now catching new infection. So immunity booster is the formula number 38, which is very good for children to develop their immunity. I usually give it for a few months because children also interact with other children, and they pick up the diseases very fast. They share their viruses and bacteria, and everybody gets the same thing in the class. So this is the one that helps them feeling protected. And bedwetting. This is also something that I talk about quite often. Bedwetting is happening in children up to 7 or 8 or 9 years, and sometimes even older. And what happens is that in the night when they go to sleep, then sometimes there are nightmares, there are fearful dreams, or they wake up crying, and then some of them have a problem in the first part of the night, some of them early in the morning. And often parents are very stressed out. Someone tells them don't make them drink anything after 9 o'clock or after 7 o'clock, and it's hard for a child to not ask for water or sometimes even milk. And some of the children actually also have worms problem, which is also missed. So this happens. The bedwetting is a very major issue. You want to send the child to a picnic, you can't send because who is going to look after? And this is something happening every single day. The bed sheet is wet, and you have to wash all the clothes and everything, and the child also starts developing inferiority complex, or feeling guilty, not knowing how to handle. Obviously child is only a child doesn't know, it's not under his control, and that's really not worth shouting. But there's something else that we can do. When the child goes to sleep, in the first sleep they are very receptive, they're very sensitive. Gently the parents can put the hand on the forehead and say that I love you a lot, and you are going to be free of this problem. And really this also works very nicely, giving suggestions in the first part of their sleep. Just whatever you want your child to improve or do, you can give the suggestions at that time. So there's a formula for bedwetting, which is also helping with the subconscious fears, because during sleep the subconscious fears become real, And that's how fear goes to kidney and bed wetting happens. And childhood asthma. Childhood asthma is very, very common nowadays. I see mothers carrying a separate bag with all the food and all the medication. And my child is allergic to this and that, and don't eat this and don't eat that. And when the season change, this happens, or something that mom has to take care almost every single day. And it's kind of very stressful to see your own child wheezing, or struggling to breathe or hearing that sound. Here is the chart of various country air pollution and the traffic pollution basically. And it's kind of seen in various countries. Also, India is one of them. And children develop asthma because of this environment pollutants. Now, I have another very beautiful way of handling childhood asthma. Doctors usually say that once he grows up, he will get better. But my understanding is this, that and I usually ask mother about her condition when she was pregnant. What happened? I asked, how was your pregnancy? Were you uh, comfortable? Were you happy? Did you have any shock or suffocation? And invariably, a mother of childhood asthma definitely has a very stressful pregnancy. And so the baby in the womb also feels the stress, suffocation, choking, sometimes the sadness. So this is now absorbed by the child, and the childhood asthma also happens because of this. And I have a very beautiful flower remedy combination for intrauterine life to improve. Even at this stage, we can release all those negative emotions that were absorbed by the child while the child was in the womb. And if mother needs the treatment, even mother can be given the treatment. But this, once we remove all these negative emotions that the baby experienced during the womb, the childhood asthma completely disappears within few months. Everything is gone, and the growth now happens. So this is very beautiful way, and I do have some interesting case stories, histories. If they are here present today, I can request them to share the story. Then stammering. Stammering is another issue. Children stammer a lot, and sometimes parents are beating them, hitting them, and some shock is there, or a teacher has hit, and then after that, the child starts stammering, or wants to speak but cannot speak clearly. And there are different ways. Some of them repeat the word, some of them only speak half the word, and then there is a stoppage. And that some of them are very impatient. So stammering also is also lack of confidence. Lack of confidence is always associated with the stammering. And I love to help these children. I've had fantastic stories of mothers coming and telling me within weeks my child is now in a party singing or presenting and fully confident. Someone who has observed the child crying, weepy, hiding behind mother's pallu, mama's boy, that kind of thing, to a completely confident little being, who can now be in even in the party or relate to the people, full of confidence. So there is a formula for confidence and concentration, and also those who are studying for exam, this formula is very useful. Next one is fearfulness and nightmares. These children, are very afraid of all kinds of things, of ghost, of dark, of some beings, of some noise. They get nightmares, and because their energy field is very, very weak, yet the astral body is also not so strong, and they're not able to process all the information. You will see that sometimes children can see the energy field, but they're not able to express. They are in the physical world, but they're also tuned to the energy world, and they're afraid sometimes, they're not able to express it, and they get nightmares. this is the time we want to give them this remedy that actually stabilizes their astral body also, because in our sleep we go through the astral planes where all these various images, stories, the ghost and all the beings are there whom we may meet and not know what to process out of it. So fearfulness and nervousness, these children don't sleep alone. They always sleep with their parents, so they want company. They're very afraid of being on their own alone. So fearful child, also another formula I have, where fear of dark, fear of teachers, fear of dentists, fear of animals, or fear of, as I said, nightmares, or being alone. So this is very good to help them to completely transform. And within months, we can see that everything is gone and they are on their own. They will say, okay, mama, you go. I'm fine playing on my own. Or even they start sleeping alone. Then worms. Worms are, of course, children, lots of white sugar, chocolates, junk food. This is a very good ground for worms. So worms happen very, very easily. And they are not able to express, but there are certain signs. One of them is nose picking. They pick their nose and they put their finger all the time in the nose. The second one is that they are grinding their teeth when they go to sleep. And the third one is the sugar craving. The fourth one is the some pain in the stomach. Mostly they show their umbilicus and they say that here is the pain. And these are the various signs that they may have worms. And sometimes when they sleep in the night, they are scratching their anus, because in the night the worms, trouble them. They start coming out, the thread worms, and there's itching. So this, and also some of them have mental symptoms, like they're very cranky, irritable. This is also sign of worms. So how I treat worms, like in allopathic, they will give some medication for killing the worms. So once in 6 months, you just, kill all the worms and you think worms are taken care. But that's not how it is. Within few weeks, the intestine again are back with all the worms, because you have not changed the very environment where the worms thriving. Worms will have some food from your intestine, and obviously you are feeding it with sugar and whatever worms love, and that's why they happen. If you change the environment, change the food habits, then worms will go away. And the flower remedy formula that I give is definitely changing the very microflora in the intestine, and then worms just cannot survive, cannot thrive. And this is what you need to do just one time. Once the microflora is changed, nothing needs to be done, there are no side effects, and the problem is solved. You don't have to keep taking routinely once in 6 months. Some of these worm medicines are very toxic. Next one is lice infestation. Lice infestation because they are playing with other children, and if other children have it, then they also have it. So for this, I have a very simple, nice spray that I like to use. And this changes again the environment for the lice, and the lice will not survive when the food is not available, and then you have very clean hair. So you don't need to use very toxic chemicals and try to kill lice. Next one is parental conflicts. Often you see that parents are comparing children, or there is a gender bias, like uh, they will say that my daughter is smart, you are not smart. And then the child feels very left out and compared and not loved. And this is invariable story. Out of 2 or 3 children, one of them is favorite of mama, one of them is favorite of papa. So this creates a lot of problems. There's a very beautiful Indian flower. It's called as tassel flower. And this helps with the disharmony or deep wounds, which even adults can take later in life if they remember there were problems in their childhood. And this restores the harmony relationship in parent and child. Now, if parents both take along with child, then the results are excellent. But even if just the child takes, then also the relationship improves. There's another one that I have, it's called as interpersonal relationship. And this also helps to improve the relationship between parents and children. Anger, aggression, violent behavior, destructive behavior, and we call it very simple word, बहुत तूफान करता है, मस्ती करता है, destructive है, तोड़फोड़ करता है, तूफानी. We say who will, that boy will not be taken to the picnic because teacher will say इसका कौन ध्यान रखेगा, who will take care. So very, aggressive teenager. There is the flower, it's called as golden rod, and this is also used, if you see flower bouquets, they use this yellow color chadi. It's called as gulchadi, and it's called as golden rod. For those who are, very destructive, they just, are constantly creating troubles, and school may say complain aaya, neighbors will complain, nobody wants to play with him, and they just somehow learn that this is the way to get your work done. This is tod ford, shout loudly, dominate everyone. So this is the flower that heals and transforms the child completely. And there is childhood obesity. This is becoming very common. I have diabetes patients as young as 16 and 17. That's really hard, to have, and they are already obese, 12 year, 13 year, and they are put on dieting plan, unfortunately. And some of them will tell you that I've been following it forever, a dieting plan. So it's really hard, that, you are obese and then everybody makes fun of you, and you're round and you love food. And so this also can be helped. Usually some eating disorders, some addictions. There is junk food addiction. Many of them are addicted to lots of junk food, and it makes them feel better. I've seen children, drinking the whole bottle of colas, and every 2 hours they'll just open the refrigerator and then eat. And these days, like, they're depressed and Maggi noodles, maybe every day. Earlier they used to have just once in a month. Now they want to eat it every day because they're bored. They just want something to stimulate. All these food products have some chemicals that make them addicted, and the purpose is solved because the chemical successfully makes them addicts. And addictions of other kinds, of course, are cough syrups and glue sniffing. Some of them start smoking and try the cigarettes very early, or other drugs as well. There is digital gadgets addictions. My goodness, you start giving a cell phone to a baby less than 1 year old. That's it. They are going to now get addicted to it. You give it away because you are busy doing something else, and now they get totally hooked on it. They are gaming all the time, or they are watching YouTube videos, and you need sometimes to censor it, otherwise they'll start seeing adult content. Morning glory flower is the one that helps with all kinds of addictions. It is also for children who can't wake up early in the morning. You tell them, okay, wake up, he won't wake up. One time, again go to sleep. Again, second time, no, can't wake up. Third time, can't wake up. Or just wakes up and is very cranky. Is not a morning person, not very fresh in the morning, and very tired and exhausted, and slowly starts waking up, and then is more alive towards the night time, and then is very difficult to unwind and go to sleep. And then again, when you wake up in the morning, very tired, not fresh, irritable, and can't wake up, and exhausted. Domestic violence. Children are unfortunately witness of a lot of parents fights, our parents are separated, there's a physical abuse, and they are not able to tell anyone because parents are their world. Where will they go? Parents are their first home. If they are abused, where are they going to go and tell anything to anybody? For at least first 18 years until they are independent, parents are their umbrella. So domestic violence is very tragic, and the trauma remains very deep into the system and is not forgotten rest of the life. Body may forget, but the mind and emotions do keep it somewhere recorded, and we call it as unfinished baggage. And that's the problem. It will remain alive in the system, and it might also become the foundation of your future relationships. Childhood trauma also with the sexual abuse. Very important to know This is the hidden truth. Right now, in the lockdown situation, all this has increased tremendously because people are locked up, and all this violence happens in less than a few hundred meters away in the periphery. It's no one very far. Someone very near is, the one who is abusing child. The child doesn't know anything, and these things are happening, and they don't even know how to dial a phone call or ask for help. So, childhood trauma is a very special formula of flower remedy that helps with the deep-seated grief and shock, something that has been going on and on for a very long time. And this is very soothing and healing the wounds. There is a formula for healthy growth. Parents always keep coming and asking me, कोई आप टॉनिक दे दीजिए ना मेरे बच्चे के लिए, उसका देखो वजन नहीं बढ़ रहा है. My child is not eating, he is not growing. Can you please give something? So they're very concerned that I feed him this and I feed him that, and still his growth is not good. He's not putting on weight, and he's still looking very small in his class. And they compare all this, and they try very hard. So there is a very general formula that we have made that helps really the growth, which is not only just physical, but also mental and emotional. And I also help to increase the height. Now, what happens? The girls should come at least at around the age of 10 if they are looking shorter, and if their parents are shorter, and if you want them to grow in their height, because this is the time they are growing very fast. And for boys it can be 14 or 15 years. That is the time they can come. They can come early as well, it's not a problem. But once they are 12 or 13 girls, then the growth is complete, then we are not able to help in increasing the height. And the same goes for the boys, that once they are 18 and the growth is complete, then I cannot help them increase their height. So if they come right on time, then we can help them to increase their height very naturally. And once the height starts increasing, we stop the remedy. And this is very, very interesting, because sometimes the parents are shorter and yet these children grow taller. There is a very interesting flower that is from the coconut tree. Now, coconut trees are very tall, and so there is a genetic information out there that tells our genes to now increase the height. This is called as epigenetics, where you inspire your own genes to improve, activate, and behave better. If the program is installed, the DNA will start responding, and this is how the height increases. Then there is something very interesting. It's called a surrogate therapy. This is something I have observed, that when the children are brought with the problems, I even always look at the mother and father, whether mother is having any emotional issue or not. That is also very important. If mother has emotional issue, it's going to get transferred to the baby. And other way around also, if the baby has an emotional issue, the mother also can be treated. In the beginning, I showed you the picture of energetic coding between mother and child, and this is how the treatment happens. So sometimes I am happy to treat mother for children's problem, and the results are absolutely fantastic. The child improves though mother has taken the remedies. Then adopted children. This is another very, very unique, special problem, because the biological parents are missing, particularly biological mother is missing, and the child has the coding, the energetic coding. The mother might feel guilty of having given up her child, and she might be grieving about it, and these emotions get transferred to the baby no matter where he or she is in the world. The mother might be feeling agitated, depressed, stressed out, and still this child gets affected. And this is a very unique problem of adopted children. They are trying to connect to the new parents. At the same time, there is influence of the biological parents. And this is the time when I have chosen this remedy. It's called as Mariposa lily. And this is a very beautiful remedy, flower remedy that helps when the mother is absent, or even sometimes the mother is there but she's addicted to something, she's alcoholic, she's not paying attention to the child, and the child feels very abandoned. When the child is really missing the mother's love, or mother is genuinely absent, there's no mother, mother died long ago, and this mother energy is missing, this is the flower remedy, which is like giving the energy of a divine mother, universal mother. And then when these remedies are taken, the child feels very stabilized, and as if a mantle is given in the energy field, like that of a protection. And then the growth and everything happens, and the child feels very grounded after that. So it's a very beautiful flower called as Mariposa lily. The other supports that I always mention about is nice to go on a whole food plant-based diet, exercise, teaching some yoga, social relationships, nature walks and activities in nature, mud, gardening, creative hobbies, compassion towards all beings, animal connection, and taking care of environment to keep our environment neat and clean and full of energy. Children love to be in positive environment. Purchase all these remedies that I mentioned, you can visit our website. It is called as omhimalaya.com. Either you can buy individual flower remedies, or you can also buy special formula. If any special problem you might have, you want to contact me or you want to consult me, then you can book a consultation. Here are the numbers, and also there is an email. It is info@drrupasha.com. And you can also send us an SMS message, or you can also call our landline number. The next session is on balance your hormones. I'll be doing it through flower remedies. Naturally, I will mention about male hormones, female hormones, and how do we do it, how the hormones are linked with each other, how the entire axis that needs to be corrected, not just a hormone, not just a gland, but the entire endocrine system. This is what I'm going to explain in the next session, that is on the 6th June, again at the same time. The two more sessions that are left still are hair and skin. The hair and skin issues will be on 13th June. I am repeatedly asked so much about hair and skin issues. I will do as much as I can. Skin is a very vast subject, but we'll try and do. And then on 20th June, weight management. I guess after 2.5 months of sitting at home and eating and not doing much physical activity, some of you might have put on weight. So I'm going to guide you how to release your weight very healthy through the flower remedies. You can follow us on social media, on Facebook. We have a Healing Temple page. We also have a YouTube channel. On Google Healing Temple page, we have various testimonials. You can go and have a look at them. And here is my email, info@drrupasha.com, and also the website drrupasha.com and omhimalaya.com. We also have a YouTube channel. I want to know if Dr. Nikunj Joshi is here today. Otherwise, I'm going to call someone else who might want to share the testimonial. I'm going to post the sharing and I'll come and let's just do some testimonial right now. So here we are. I have stopped now my sharing and you all can see me. Anyone has anything to ask? Anyone wants to share? I'm going to call.
There are 3 questions.
All right.
Can I shoot them now?
Let me just wait only for a few more seconds if anyone. There was someone who wanted to come. She tried to call. Yeah, Anju Thakur. Anju.
Hi, Doc.
Oh, thank you very much for coming.
No, I was trying to connect. I couldn't connect. Yeah, then it started. Yeah.
Yeah, you called me and I was in the middle of all this.
Yeah, because that time the link was not getting through. But then finally we got through.
And Anju, are you going to show us your face?
You have actually stopped my video, so you have to disable my video.
Now it's um,
Huh.
is it?
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
hi. Hi. Hi.
Thank you very much for coming, and I hope you did listen some of
Seeing
my
you.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I listened to the whole thing.
Oh, you did. How
Yeah, yeah,
nice. Thank you very
yes,
much.
yes, yes, yes. Because I just wanted to share my experience. I mean, we've been in touch practically every week, and
Right.
you are my go-to person when even something small as much as my son sneezes. So I actually started coming to you last May, and it's been over a year. And I remember the first session we had with you, and you kept telling me, "Don't worry. Within just matter of 6 months or 7 months, you're going to see your son bloom like a flower." My son is now 11. He was 10 when we went to Dr. Rupa, and I myself had a lot of fear in me and a lot of anxiety about his issues. He is a very emotional and sensitive child, and there is at that age where all unable to be part of a group, and then finding it difficult to connect with friends yet want to be part of a group, then the fear of animals, fear of sleeping alone, and focus was also he goes to an IB school where everything is so unstructured, so it's very important for a child to focus. So these were my top two or three issues with Vivan, and I went, like, I was recommended by a friend, and then went to meet Dr. Rupa, and she used to keep telling me, "Don't worry, he's going to bloom like a flower." And like, we've seen him transform from what he was to what he is today, and every time, like, it is actually, if you notice and you can feel that he's bloomed, he's much more confident, he's able to focus, he's appreciated in his class. Yes, his usual tantrums and his online gaming and his fights and all continue. I mean, that's part of growing up, but he is far more confident, his immunity has improved. I also recommend everybody, I don't know, doctor, if you touched upon, is that her cold medicine, cold and fever, I think it's just like a miracle that it works. Within a day, the water therapy works. So that is something that I have kept at home as SOS medicine. And I remember after 3 months, I also went to the doctor for my anxiety, and being in a job which is demands you 24/7 in media, and having a lot of restlessness. So it has helped me with my acidity, my anxiety, and helped me to sleep better. Now I've also made notes, doctor. I want your lavender oil also.
Yes, yes, certainly.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure,
So,
sure.
um, just, I mean, I blindly trust you. So any issue with Vivan, you are my go-to person, and I think whoever is starting or has already started will see how it works for them. And for Vivan, it has worked brilliantly. And I'm in touch with the doctor. We WhatsApp on his issues. We want to see him, but yeah, let's.
Whether his handwriting has improved now?
Yeah, handwriting has improved, doctor, but what has happened is in the last 2 months now has become bad because of lockdown. He's refusing to write. So yeah, that one issue also we had. He just couldn't write properly.
Hmm.
And the school also has been telling us that he's turned into a very confident and resilient child, which is very good. Vivan, you want to say hi? Come. So,
Hi,
uh,
Vivan. So
he's
happy to
become as
see.
tall. I'm trying to catch the cricket ball. He's become as tall as me.
Wow, very nice. And
So only
his
thing is
immune
now in this
system,
lockdown,
and his
his
immune
immune system has
system.
improved. Yeah, one other big thing. Vivan had eczema, so every winter he used to get rash all over his thighs and hands. So, and his chest. Like in summers used to be chest, and in winters used to be thighs and arms, which has been controlled. Like I remember putting this mild steroid cream every time he used to get a rash because there used to be a lot of itching. So that has completely gone. Now he just gets it here sometimes when he sweats, which also Dr. Rupa is working with him, and it's far less than what it was. And so I used to do, I mean, not to put anything, any alternative medicine bad. I have done homeopathy from the time he was 4 to literally the time he was 8, 9 for his eczema. But after starting the flower medicine, his eczema, at least the arms and thighs are gone. It's only on the joints, like behind the elbow and behind the knee, he gets. But that's also because he's sweating a lot, and more so a lot that his temperament has become much more confident from being an emotional child to actually being somebody who can face any situation. So it's not that the situations will go away; it's how you change your approach to a situation, which is what, like, I am also now not fearing him go to school and learn to deal with issues in school. Like he's it has helped me to become stronger.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Anju. Thank you
Thank you,
for.
doctor, for being there. I mean, you're my go-to.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna make a notes, doctor. I'm gonna message you now what all I need. I need lavender oil for sleep.
Sure, sure, sure. Most welcome. I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you. Nandita?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So Ruchi's question is, can two remedies be given simultaneously, especially coconut and morning creeper?
Yes, both the flower essences, up to 6 different flowers I combine, can be given. It's up to each individual. Sometimes you want to experience an individual flower, so you just give one flower. Sometimes you want to give combination. So both are okay, whatever you want to do.
Then her next question is, does domestic violence not come under parental conflict? What is the difference between usage of lavender flower remedy and essential oil?
So let me answer the second one first. The essential oil is, when you take how many kilos of lavender flower and then you process it and then you get 1 kilo of lavender oil, and from that you take 1 drop of lavender and you add it into the carrier oil because it's very, very fragrant, and that carrier oil also smells a lot, and then you apply that locally. So now when you apply it locally, you smell, right? So it is going through your physical senses to your nervous system and then calming it down. But when you take flower remedy, you are just taking the energy. So energy goes straight into your subtle body, into your etheric body, into your emotional body, and then it has effect onto the physical body and then nervous system. So it's like two different entry points, but achieving the same thing. But here, like, we need only few flowers to make flower remedy, whereas lavender oil will need huge consumption of flour and then take oil. So both are complementary, both are working at a different level. The lavender flower remedy is working at a subtle level, whereas this works through the physical to the mind and emotions, the oil part of it. The first question was, I forgot again. Please repeat.
Uh, does domestic violence not come under parental conflict? And what is the difference between usage of, which you answered?
So parental conflict could be verbal also, and physical violence would be, domestic violence is actually hitting and breaking things and hiding stories. Every family has secrets and they hide these stories. So sometimes dirty words only, it's only verbal abuse, so it's a parental conflict. Sometimes there's just constant fighting, there's nothing else but just talking. So this is just small difference though.
Okay, Urja Nayak's question is, she wants more details on learning disability for her son who's 15 years old.
So what kind of information you might need, but the best thing would be to go and meet up a counselor in the school who will give exact diagnosis. Certain tests needs to be done, and there are centers, there are major hospitals where there is a proper center for child development, and there they do the testing and then they find out about the learning disability. Some of them actually get a extra writer if he cannot write. Some of them need special teachers to actually teach them. So I think better to kind of uh, meet the school and ask the exact counselor who will guide you further which hospital to go to. There are all kinds of learning disabilities. Some can't write, some can't speak, some can't read, some can't recollect, some are very hyperactive, some are just blanked out, some are still having dyslexia, some are very slow learner. That's we'll have to find out the exact problem.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm Urja Naik. Can I speak?
Yeah, who's that?
Urja.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
Urja Naik.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. Actually, right now he's not going to school because of his IT problem. His school told us that Baba, he's a very slow learner, so we can't keep him. So they removed him from school. But now we are taking his treatment. He's already undergoing treatment. We also have his treatment going in King Hospital.
Okay.
Okay, but
Yeah.
right now what I need is there any flower remedy through which we can help him out? And he's very hyperactive. You can say he is very lazy as well. Okay, he doesn't read properly. He writes. His handwriting is very good, but he doesn't speak. He can't read, and he can't remember things. He can't remember words. He can't even remember what movie he saw last night or what he did last night or what he ate last night.
Sure. So there are some very good formula that I already described today about memory, concentration, learning disability, hyperactivity. You saw them, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
was describing. So you can start with one of them or two of them together, and within few months you will see that how his entire life can change. It's a life transforming, rescuing a child completely, transforming his life. If you have, you can also consult me later and give me complete details of his case, and then I can suggest exact remedies to start with.
Yes, sir. I would like to take your consultation. So,
Sure.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll talk in details about it.
Sure. Definitely, you should be able to help him. Now is the right time. We should not
It's already too
waste his
late,
time.
doctor. That's what
I know,
everyone told me.
but
It's
there is
simple and
potential.
late about it.
I know, but there is potential. There's huge potential. Over the years, I have so many stories, so many case histories, and I have seen that lives completely changed. I just know it. That whenever it's never, whenever you start is a good time. But these flowers are so powerful. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a doctor for more than 35 years, 37 years. I'm an allopathic doctor. Why am I chasing the flowers? Because they are so powerful. I've just known there are no side effects and they work so wonderfully on mind and emotions. That's the reason why I'm doing this talks, to create the awareness, because people don't know about it. While doctors like me start recommending and using it and showing the results, more people will come forward and start using them. You heard like how Vivan was helped from Anju.
Yeah.
That's it, completely, like complete transformation, and more is happening, and she feels completely rest assured in a year's time that already so much has happened, more will happen, and the child has a better start in life now. Nandita.
Okay. Shamji Dhola's question, I'm not clear about it, but he says congenital hormonal different help to increase height deficiency.
So please send me if any genetic study is done to give this diagnosis of congenital. If the parents are short, what is the exactly genetic status? I'd like to know all these things in detail. How old is the child, or just please let me know, then I'll be able to guide better.
Mona's question is, would like to talk about bedwetting. Does fear play a big role in bedwetting?
Yes, Mona, that's what I've been repeatedly saying, that fear goes to kidney. And sometimes we hear that टीचर ने उसको इतना जोर से मारा कि उसको यूरिन पास हो गया, because the child was so afraid and the urine passed. That is the connection, the fear, nervous system, and bedwetting. So there's a very strong link. Usually bedwetting children are introvert, fearful. They may look hyperactive, or but inside there are subconscious fears. So there's a flower called as swallowwort that we use, and otherwise a formula is there as well. certainly the child will get completely transformed, because here the healing is not just for the body. Body symptoms are indicating something deeper into the system, into the mind and emotions, and we have to heal holistically. You don't treat just bedwetting, you also treat the fears in the mind, because both will be healed together, and there'll be a complete transformation in the child's personality. The children respond very fast to flower remedies because they don't have complicated mind and emotion systems like us. They don't have layers and they don't have too much of hidden stuff. So they respond very beautifully, very quickly. I see results very fast.
Okay, the next question is from Facebook. It's to do with gender bias. When a family is experiencing, or when a child is experiencing gender bias, is there a remedy for that?
When a child is experiencing, we have to know
Partiality or gender bias.
Correct. Is it the child's perception, or is it the parents throwing such, ideas? So both will have to be known properly. Sometimes the children are perceiving that nobody loves me, nobody likes me, Papa doesn't love me, Mama doesn't love me, he loves so much. So there could be, a perception problem, or sometimes there's a genuine problem that parents find that a difficult child is a burden and the easy one is favorite of the family. So I will need to know a little bit more in detail about the history, and then I can recommend the remedies to the child or whatever. But I need to know a little bit more before we conclude it.
So we are done from Facebook, and I see that we've already covered all the questions from the conference.
All right. So, and we are also time up. So next time it's going to be speaking about the hormone problem. Let me just kind of show you one last slide before I go. And so the last slide today is about so I would like to share this part. It says that I miss being a little kid with no stress, worries. I miss being a little kid with no stress, worries, or care in the world. I think all of us would love to have this kind of childhood. And this is the picture of Rudolf Steiner, and this is his message. He says that receive the children in reverence, educate them in love, and send them forth in freedom. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. And this video will be also uploaded on YouTube. It's right now also on Facebook. And if you think it is useful to more people, do forward them, share them. And if you have any questions, I'm always available to ask. Thank you very much.